I began the sketch based on the already formed image of the painting, relying on its internal symmetry and overall sense of rhythm. I used a B2 pencil. It's soft enough to define lines confidently while allowing for easy correction of form. First, I outlined the general compositional circle, defining the center and the main axis vertical and horizontal, which established balance throughout the work. Next, I divided the space into rings and sectors, maintaining radial symmetry. After that, I began constructing large geometric shapes, outer arcs, intersecting diagonal elements, and a central core. I used the eraser not only for corrections, but also as a refinement tool, weakening lines, removing excess tension and making the drawing breathe. Then I moved on to the internal patterns, triangles, repeating patterns, and nested figures. The sketch was developed gradually, from the general to the specific. Without putting pressure on the final result, it was more important to maintain a pure rhythm and a clear structure. I approached the coloring with the understanding that color here was not just a decorative element, but an independent carrier of energy and mood. I consciously moved from large elements to small details to maintain the integrity of the composition. I used acrylic paints and 3 brushes, a larger than medium brush for the background and large color masses, a medium brush for the main shapes and segments, and a thin brush for the ornamentation and contours. The first step was the background. I chose a rich red and applied it with a wide brush, evenly, but with a light, lively texture. The background was meant to be vibrant, but not compete with the center. Then I moved on to large rings and arcs, yellow, blue, and green elements. Maintaining the purity of color was crucial here, so I worked confidently, avoiding returning to the same spot repeatedly, to avoid the paint becoming blurred. After that, I began working on the middle ground, the inner rings, intersections, and color transitions between blue, green, and pink. Using a medium brush, I defined the shape and then adjusted the edges, maintaining symmetry without achieving mechanical perfection. A slight hand-painted roughness was intentional. The most meditative stage was working with small details. Using a fine brush, I drew triangular patterns, repeating lines, and internal designs. Here I worked slowly, almost like in graphic art, concentrating on rhythm and repetition. Black lines connected the color spots and restored clarity to the composition. Finally, I slightly enhanced the center so that the eye was naturally drawn into the painting. Critical assessment of the painting. What worked well? Strong symmetry and a stable center of the composition. Bright, energetic color palette. Clear rhythm of repeating forms. Good interaction between the pattern and large color masses. What didn't work perfectly? In some places, the lines of the pattern overwhelmed the space. The red background is too dominant in places. The thickness of the outlines isn't always uniform, causing the rhythm to be a bit fluid. What could be added or changed? Slightly more pauses areas without ornamentation. Subtle color gradients within large shapes. Enhance the contrast of the center to make it even more eye-catching. Style and audience. The painting gravitates toward an abstract mandala, with elements of psychedelic and ethnic ornamentation, and is also reminiscent of art therapy and intuitive art. It may appeal to people interested in meditation, inner states, symbolism, as well as those who enjoy bright, rich, emotional imagery. This work is well perceived not rationally, but on the level of sensation and mood.